Hello, hello, hello. I am your host OCL, and welcome back to 1 Century Later. Today we'll be taking a look at all events from June 20th to June 26th, 1926. As with last week, all of my sources are in the description down below. Sunday, June 20th, 1926. A referendum was held in Germany on whether or not the country should enact the expropriation of the German Weimar princes without compensation. The referendum received 96% votes in favor. However, due to a law in the German constitution, any referendum needed at least a 50% voter turnout rate for the referendum to be effective. 39% turnout, the referendum on the expropriation of the German Weimar princes failed. This was mainly because the opposition knew the referendum would likely succeed, and as such encouraged its voters not to vote in the referendum, keeping the voter turnout rate below the 50% threshold. Monday, June 21st, 1926. The trial of Pramod Ranjan Chowdhury and Anantahari Mitra for the May 28th murder of prison superintendent Bhupen Chatterjee came to a close with both Chowdhury and Mitra sentenced to death. Also on this day, following the May 25th assassination of Simon Petliura, Ukrainian general Volodymyr Oskilko, who tried to break up a Jewish-Ukrainian coalition in 1922, was also assassinated at his home in Rone, Poland, now Rivne, Ukraine. Due to insufficient evidence, no one was arrested and the case was closed. Also on this day, Dutch engineer Lou Ottens, known for his 1963 invention of the cassette tape, was born in Bellingwolde, Netherlands. Ottens passed away in 2021 at the age of 94. Tuesday, June 22nd, 1926. Yan Huiting resigned as the President and Acting Prime Minister of the Republic of China after taking office in May 14th. Hu Jigui took over as acting president and acting prime minister. Wednesday, June 23rd, 1926. Severe storms in Germany caused flooding along the Elbe, Oder, and Ruhr rivers, increasing the height of the Elbe River by at least 7 meters. 100,000 acres of farmland were flooded, displacing thousands of civilians and killing 15, including 7 soldiers who took refuge in a field radio station that was struck by lightning, electrocuting all 7. Over 20,000 German military members were drafted into the relief service in the flooding areas. The 9th government of France's Prime Minister, Aristide Briand, fell after its creation on March 9th. The government was reorganized into his 10th government, with Adolphe Guillaumat replacing Paul Penglev as Minister of War, and Joseph Callot replacing Raoul Pereire as Minister of Finance. Also on this day, the San Juan Nada plot to overthrow the government of Spain's Prime Minister and dictator Miguel Primo de Rivera was foiled the day before it was supposed to take place. The coup failed after one of the leaders of the coup, General Francisco Aguilera, told the Queen Mother, Maria Cristina, who told King Alfonso XIII, King Alfonso decided that the government of Miguel Primo de Rivera was the safer and more stable option of the two, and warned the Prime Minister. General Aguilera, as well as several other military leaders and several politicians, were arrested. Also on this day, the Prime Minister of Iceland, Jón Magnússon, passed away at the age of 67. Magnússon served as Iceland's Prime Minister from 1917 to 1922, and again from 1924 until his death. Also on this day, a dam broke in the Mexican state of Guanajuato near the city of León after heavy rains. Combined, the rains and broken dam caused flash flooding, overflowing the banks of the Santiago River by about 2.5 meters. The exact counts are unknown, however the flood destroyed an estimated 20,000 adobe homes built out of dried mud that collapsed when the flood struck, at an estimated property loss of 7 million pesos. An estimated 1,300 people were killed in the floods, with 6,000 left homeless. And lastly on this day, U.S. evangelist Amy Semple McPherson was found stumbling through the Agua Prieta Desert in Mexico near the border with Arizona after her May 18th disappearance. At the time of her disappearance, it was believed she had drowned in the California Ocean, and several memorial services were held, bringing in tens of thousands of her fans in person and millions more over radio. McPherson claimed that during her disappearance she was kidnapped, tortured, and held for a $500,000 ransom before her escape. Her account of kidnapping came under suspicion, and rumors spread that the kidnapping was a cover-up for her affair with her radio engineer, Kenneth Ormiston. To add to the suspicion, it was discovered that an unknown woman was staying with Ormiston during McPherson's disappearance. Charges were brought against McPherson for criminal conspiracy for perjury and obstruction of justice, and a trial was set for January 1927. Thursday, June 24th, 1926. An attempt by the United States to amend the 1922 Washington Naval Treaty failed during a meeting of the Naval Subcommittee of the Preparatory Disarmament Commission. In the 1922 treaty, the naval production by tonnage per class of vessel for signatory countries was ratioed with the naval production of other countries. In the treaty, battleships, battlecruisers, and aircraft carriers were capped, but cruisers, destroyers, and submarines were not limited. The amendment proposed by the United States would include cruisers, destroyers, and submarines in the ratios. 6 countries voted in favor of the amendment, 12 voted against, and 5 abstained. Friday, June 25th, 1926. A motion in the Canadian House of Representatives to strike a recommendation of censure against the government of Canada's Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King for maladministration lost by a vote of 115 for and 117 against. With discussion lasting well into the night, the session would not be adjourned until 5:20 a.m. the following day, leaving the debate about what must be done with King's government for the following Monday. Saturday, June 26th, 1926. A 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck the Dodecanese Islands in the Greek archipelago early in the morning, killing 51 and reaching a level 11 on the modified Mercalli intensity scale, indicating extreme destruction caused by the earthquake. Almost all buildings were destroyed in the village of Archangelos on the Greek island of Rhodes. Also on this day, the governor of the Banque de France, Georges Rabanot, was replaced by Émile Méraud at the discretion of France's new Minister of Finance, Joseph Callot, after Robineau's refusal to use France's gold reserves to curb the devaluation of the French franc. And that is all. See you next week for all events from Sunday, June 27th, 1926 to Saturday, July 3rd, 1926. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.